guys want to take a seat? Welcome again. This is actually the Internet Franchise or UnFranchise Business presentation side of things. So as you've already seen, we have different line of products, and one of the major flagship we have is the isotonics, which Kevin has explained. And so the UnFranchise Business is the Market Australia shop.com business, which is basically a very interesting concept or model of business. And the company, Market Australia, actually was founded in 2002, and the mother company, Market America, was founded in 1992. And we are a product brokerage and internet marketing company that specializes in one-to-one marketing and social shopping. Now, you can see this is actually the original place. The founder, J.R. Ridinger and Lauren Ridinger's garage was where they started this business. And that was back in 1992. And the company celebrated its 21st birthday. So it's been around for 21 years now. And nowadays it's actually in Greensboro, North Carolina in the US. And you can see this corporate office that actually houses more than 600 staff members. So as you can see, in the last 21 years, there's over 600 people have become part of the staff member. And in Australia, like Kevin and some others are in Australia, part of the corporate team as well. And so if you look at this graph, it's basically showing that we have the blue and the red. The blue is the sales figures for the last 21 years of the wholesale sales, and then the red is the retail part of it. And as you can see, from 2000 to now 2013, projecting all of this is gone up every single quarter, which shows something very significant, and that is our company has been growing. And even in that difficult times, like the financial difficulty in during the financial what's that called? Financial GSM, and many other situations, it still goes up. And a lot of companies actually don't show the wholesale or just the retail, but our company chooses to show both, which you can see out of the last 21 years, nearly $5 million worth of retail sales have been accumulated, which shows that we are really financially secure and fantastic. Okay, and you can see here there are a lot of millionaires that have been produced as a result of them being part of our company. And some of them you may have met, like there's Andy Webb, who is now our Vice President of Sales in Market Australia, and then that's him there. And then we have people like Jen and Jerry and Luke and others. And MarketAustraliaShop.com is changing the way that people shop, and that is really the mission. And we also changed the economic paradigm so that everyone can leverage the very simple model, to be able to earn money. And so the twofold mission of our company is that, number one, we want to help people to have a better way to shop, but then the second one is that you are able to become financially independent as part of becoming part of the company. And if you see the figures below there, total distributor earnings is more than 2.69, nearly 2.7 for the last 21 years. If you have a look at the original figure of nearly 4.9 billion, 2.7 billion, which is more than nearly 60%. And that is very unique because a lot of companies would not have that larger ratio going back to the distributors. And out of all the people that are in Market America and Market Australia, more than 300 people have become millionaires already for the last 21 years. And the company creates different companies within the global village. At the moment, we're in the United States, in Canada, Mexico, Australia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the United Kingdom. And as most of you would have heard, that global.shop.com is now operating, which means that we are able to reach people all over the world, not just those countries that we have operations in. So that's really, really exciting because Kevin was sharing with us on Friday that it's very important for us to understand how global.shop.com can impact both the business itself, but also the opportunity for us to share the great products that we have. Which means that, like, for example, just give my own experience. I've got already since globalstockshop.com, Kevin, how long has it been? Around 1 month, yeah?
1 month.
Well, but only a month. I've already got 2 customers in USA, 1 in Hong Kong, which I've got a market Hong Kong business anyway, but still using globalstockshop.com, and 1 Japan. And I've got a lot of relatives in Malaysia. The auntie that Derek and I have been using these products, and we bring them over to Malaysia, but now we don't have to do that anymore. They sign up as my preferred customer through Global, and then they are then able to just order and be shipped to them. And that's very, very exciting, isn't it, Kevin? I'm just thinking that 3 to 5 times more the opportunity than just having the business in Australia. And I can see all of us are actually, most of us actually were born outside of Australia. And for those of you who were born here, you would have friends that are from other countries, I can imagine, yeah? So this is very exciting. Okay, next one. So this is a very important concept. There is this thing called the 45-year plan, and I know that quite a lot of you are in that plan, and which means that for every 100 people who should have reached the age 65, which is supposed to be the retirement age, and you know that nowadays in Australia, 67 is the retirement age now, so 2 years older than 65, so it's sort of gone older. But basically, if you think about someone who reached 65, there are only 5% of people that are financially independent, which includes 1% in the wealthy category and 4% in the financially fit category, which means that if they don't work, they don't have to worry about, you know, paycheck to paycheck, or like they can still survive. So that's financially fit, which means that the money that keeps coming in actually exceeds the money that they have to use, you know, the expenses. So that's the 4%. 1% is the wealthy, you know, these are the Richard Bransons, the Bill Gates, the, you know, very rich people. And so every 100 people, there are still 5 people when they reach 65 that are still working. How many of you know someone that are in that category, like 65 years old still working? I know some people, yeah? And that's, you know, 5%. And I heard from one of our leaders who said that in the US, I think it's gone up, it's not even 5%, I think it's, you know, more than that of people that are still working when they reach 65. And then unfortunately 28% people are dead, which means that they are either stress themselves to death, or that, you know, they have some kind of illness, and so you don't want to be in that category when you turn to 65, do you? And so, and then the other one is 62% struggling financially, which means that they have to rely on, you know, government, or they still, even when they're working, they, you know, have to, go through paycheck to paycheck, and there's just a lot of issues with their finance. So that's the situation of the 45-year plan. Okay, and then so also for every 100 people that reach 65 years old, 95% of them spend up to 45 years of their lives making the other 5% rich or successful, which means for those of you who are actually working in a job, you would know that you will never be really wealthy or in that 5% category. You have to work very hard, but ultimately you actually, you know, let your boss become successful, and that's what the situation is. And so that's what it means, you know, the work for plan for someone else's financial success, not their own. I mean, even if you earn a lot of money, 6-7 figure as a CEO, you will never be able to be in that 5% category if you are in that 45-year plan. And what we want to present to you today is what we call the UnFranchise Business, or the Internet Franchise Business, which is the 2 to 3 year plan. And what that is basically a system which is like a franchise, and it has systemization, it has standardization and uniformity. So when you think about a franchise, who can tell me what is the most successful franchise out there? Starbucks, yes, it's one. McDonald's, yeah. Like my brother, he owns a franchise called Courier Please, and so they all have systems, and these kind of systems allow them to just follow it, and then they'll be able to earn money. But they also have state-of-the-art management systems. They have potential tax advantages because, you know, you're able to actually get tax benefits, and growing visibility like Starbucks or Macca's. You are able to just leverage on the brand, the well-known brand. So that's the benefit of being a franchise. But unlike a franchise, our UnFranchise Business system actually do not require you to pay a franchise fees. I mean, for the example of McDonald's, do you know just an average cost to start up is 1.6 million? And even my brother's little, courier police business, he had to pay 50 grand. And how many of you have that kind of extra, disposable cash flow to be able to start something like that? I don't see that's a very viable option for many people anyway. And then there's no monthly royalties, like, they have to pay 20 to 50% depending on which franchise. And no territorial restrictions, which means that if you have a Macca's in South Melbourne, for example, do you think you can actually get benefit from the McDonald's in Geelong? No, right? Because they're actually, in a sense, competing with each other, right? So there is this restrictions. Like my brother, he actually owns the territory of CBD within Melbourne, and he cannot, bring or carry parcels to, let's say, Caroline Springs, where I live. So that is the territorial restriction. So if you want another franchise to be, doing the delivery of the parcels, he will then need to pay maybe another 30, 60 grand to start another franchise. And it's the same with Macca's or Starbucks. And you can also start part-time with flexible hours. Most of us here who are already an UnFranchise owners are actually doing that. You don't have to give up what you're doing, whether it's your job or your other business or things that you're already doing, and you can really work in flexible hours. And also minimal startup expenses. As we've already mentioned, like to start a business, whether it's traditional or franchise, you have to pay a lot of money to start off. Whereas with this, you would find it very, very shocking that is, so affordable. And then it's little to no risk, really. You don't have to risk anything when you become part of this business. And there are 3 ways that you can earn an income. The first is cashback. Now, cashback is basically for your online transactions, say for you or for your customers to actually purchase something on your web portal. You are able to earn a cashback. So every single product, I know that, like, for example, Stephen, you purchased the whole Daily Essentials kit. And do you know you also get cashback from those kits? And that's amazing, isn't it? It's not like so many other systems where you just get points like, flybys and others. You get cashback, and when you collect enough cashback, you then, able to reuse it or cash it back. So that's amazing. And number 2 is provide products, and you only need to serve 10 to 15 preferred customers. We're not talking about tens of hundreds and thousands. And say, for example, a friend of mine that I've done a website for needed to have at least 100 average a day to sell their clothes, retail shop, to be able to just even cover their rent. Whereas for us, we only need 10 to 15 customers, and they regularly consume and buy things from us. And we can earn anywhere between 30 to 1,000% gross retail profits. And for example, I do website, which is my main focus of this business. I have earned more than 1,000 retail profits, and it's just amazing. And the third way for you to earn money through this business is what we call time leveraging. Now, how many of you understand the concept of leverage or don't understand it? Leverage is something that I find extremely, extremely valuable. Before I started this business, I did not understand leverage. But now, I see how beautiful leverage is. Leverage is something that you can, do it once, something you do once, and then you get the benefit over and over again and ongoing income, so you duplicate the efforts. For example, like today, Stephanie and Edward have kindly opened their house for us to leverage the environment, to share the business with, our friends. And then, for example, Kevin came all the way from Sydney, and we can leverage his expertise to, share with people. And say, for example, for me, I've been working very closely with Heath, and he's not very familiar or experienced in website, but I've been working very closely with him, and we've been able to do business together. So he's leveraged me as a website major. So can you see how we help each other? So you're actually in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So this kind of leverage actually helps you to be able to develop your organizations, and we only need to develop 2 sales and distribution organizations. And in a minute, Kevin will explain how those 2 organizations will help you to earn, a lot of money, anywhere between $300 to, million and above and all that. So it's just amazing. It's already stated there. You can have the opportunity to earn anywhere between $300 to $3,600 per week per BDC, which is Business Development Center, and that is something that is ongoing. You're not just talking about you sell one OPC3 or one website, but an ongoing income, which is what we call residual income, is something that is the time leveraging that gives you even more income with or without you. That's amazing. Okay, so tell me, between the 2 plan, 45-year plan and 2 to 3 year plan, let's say, okay, Tom, both of them work. 45-year plan, which means you start off working when you're in your 20s and then you retire at 65, and 2 to 3 year plan, meaning the plan that we have here in place. Which do you prefer? If both of them worked?
The
2 to 3, obviously, yeah? Because even if the 2 to 3 year plan didn't work, you've only wasted 2 to 3 years only. But the 45-year plan,
you can repeat it.
You can repeat it, exactly.
Unlike the 45-year plan, you can't repeat that.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it twice, you're already 90, and that's sort of, a bit difficult. But 2 to 3 year plan, even if we spend more than 2 to 3 year plan, even if it's 5 to 10 year plan, and you still have the opportunity to build it up. I mean, not everyone would achieve, let's say, the 6-figure income within 2 to 3 years. In fact, it's probably taking a lot of us longer than that. But even if that's the case, 5 years, right? 10 years is still better than 45 years. Agree? Yeah? So if you right now think 2 to 3 year plan is what you think is your preferred option, then continue to listen. But if you think you prefer to be in the 45-year plan, then possibly this business is not for you. So think about it. I would hope that everyone thinks 2 to 3 year plan is their preferred option. Yeah? Yeah, Eric?
Yeah.
2 to 3 years.